You know that feeling that your genes basically control your destiny? Well, what if that whole idea is just wrong? Today we're going to flip the script on everything you thought you knew about your DNA and who's really calling the shots.
So let me ask you this straight up. Do you ever feel like a victim of your genes? You know, that thought in the back of your head that you're just stuck with certain traits or health problems because, well, it runs in the family. It's a really powerful feeling, right? This idea that our fate is already sealed right there in our DNA.
And look, that feeling is totally understandable. Why? Because it's backed up by a story we hear all the time. Let's just call it the myth of the gene. It's the story we're all told about how our bodies work, and it puts our genes right at the top of the pyramid.
I mean, just think about the headlines you see all the time. Scientists find the gene for this, or that cancer gene just turns on. The media paints this picture of our genes turning on and off like they've got a mind of their own, like these tiny little dictators inside us, controlling everything from our health to our happiness.
And what happens when you hear that over and over? Well, you start to believe it. We end up with this kind of genetic fatalism, this belief that our destiny is already programmed, that who we are is just permanently stamped into our DNA. But what if that whole story is missing the most important piece of the puzzle?
Okay, so if that's the myth, what's the reality? This is where it gets really interesting. We have to do a total reframe here. What if genes aren't the dictators at all? What if they're just the blueprint?
Just making that one little switch in your thinking changes absolutely everything. We're going from seeing genes as the puppet master pulling all the strings to seeing them as just a passive set of plans. And trust me, this isn't a small tweak in thinking. It's a complete 180.
So what do I mean when I say blueprint? Well, think about an architect's plan for a house. The blueprint has all the info, every last detail. But that piece of paper can't just decide to build the house, can it? It just sits there. It's passive. A gene is exactly the same. It holds all these vital instructions, but it can't read itself. It can't decide when it's time to get to work.
And of course, that leads us to the biggest question of all. If our genes are just the passive plans, then who's the builder? Who's the contractor on the job site that actually picks up the blueprint, reads it, and puts it all into action? What's the real signal here?
And the answer, the builder who reads that blueprint, is something you actually have direct control over. It's your perception. This is where you can see the unbelievable influence your mind has over your physical body. So here's the absolute key. The signal that actually reads your genes is your perception. It's your viewpoint, your beliefs, your unique take on the world. The very lens that you see your life through is what's telling your body which parts of that massive genetic blueprint to pull out and use. So, the real chain of command? It starts with your mind. For instance, say you perceive a situation as really threatening. That perception, that's the signal. That signal then tells your body to read the stress response genes from the blueprint. And the outcome? Your body releases cortisol and adrenaline. It's your perception that kicks the whole thing off, every single time.
This idea is, frankly, revolutionary. And it leads to our final and maybe most empowering point. You are not your heredity. Because if you can change the signal that reads the genes, well then you have the power of choice. This is where all this science becomes so incredibly liberating.
So let's circle all the way back to that question I asked at the beginning. Are you a victim of your genes? Based on what we now know, the answer is a loud, clear no. You are not a victim. Your heredity does not have to be your destiny. So let's just nail down the big ideas one more time. Genes, they're just the blueprints, not the decision makers. Your perception, your belief system, that's the signal that tells your body which blueprint to read. And here's the best part, you can change the signal. That means you, yes, you, are in the driver's seat of your own biology.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought to chew on. If it's really true that how you see the world sends signals that directly talk to your genetic code, and that this is changing your biology from one moment to the next, what will you choose to see today?